So when is Metroid Prime 4 coming out? I've been asking myself this for a number of years, and I'll probably be asking it for a number of more years. But today I want to discuss why I think it could possibly come out in the year 2021. Stay tuned. In case you don't know me, hi, nice to meet you. My name is Joey Ferris. I run this channel right here, FerrisWheelPro, as well as I help run other channels, Nuke the Fridge Gaming, and the big one being Commonwealth Realm. And if there's anything you really need to know about me for this video, it's that I am a very huge Metroid fan. I don't know if I would say I'm the #1 Metroid fan in the world, because I've seen people with some pretty sizable Metroid collections, and I don't want to brag about, and I don't want to go on claiming that I'm the biggest, but it is my all-time favorite video game franchise, and that much is certain. On Twitter lately, a couple of my friends, namely SuperMetalDave and Rob of Rule of Two Review, have been talking to me about Metroid Prime 4, Metroid Prime Trilogy HD on the Switch, if that's even a thing, which I hope it is. Namely, this was started when Rob posted a Twitter poll asking people when do they think Metroid Prime 4 is coming out. He recently came out with a video asking the same question, which basically inspired me to want to make this video. Because as it is, there is kind of a debate going on when Metroid Prime 4 is coming out. Obviously, that's up in the air. We don't know anything. We're just talking because we are excited about this game that we've been waiting for 10, 11, 12 plus years. So we're going to talk a little bit about when we'll be able to play it, when we'll be able to even see it, because as it is, I don't care, about playing the game as much as seeing it. Because as it is, it, irritates me that I don't even know what to be excited about except the Prime 4 title screen. What's this game going to look like? What is it going to play like? We don't know, and I'm not gonna know for years. But while we're talking about when we're gonna see these things, let's think about a number of things. Now that Retro Studios is back on board, how's Nintendo going to make sure that this project is managed time-wise, quality-wise, stuff like that? Let's get right into it. When do I think Metroid Prime 4 is coming out? As you saw by the title, I think it is 2021. A part of that is optimism, but another part of that is thinking about how Nintendo has treated Retro Studios when they made the Metroid Prime trilogy back in the 2000s. Now, one thing to consider is that yes, video game development has gotten significantly more complicated over the years, but at the same time, we don't know how much of the game has been completed yet as of the development update back in January. For all we know, Retro Studios started working on this game back in November of last year. Also, did they really start from scratch? Maybe some assets from the original developers have carried over into this new one. We don't know. We're not going to know, but in the meantime, it's fun to speculate. So, speculate with me, will ya? Here's why I think 2021 is reasonable. Or at the very least, something that I'll cover later, at least revealed in 2021, and then released in 2022. God, these years are so far away. They feel so far away. Come on, just let the years go by faster, please. So back in the Prime Trilogy days, when Retro Studios was assigned to make Metroid Prime 1, 2, and 3, development on those games wasn't too long. But granted, the average development times for games back then was around 2 to 3 years. In Metroid Prime's case, I believe that game took 2 years to create. Same with Prime 2. Prime 3 took longer because they spent a year working on the Wii hardware, as in figuring out what to do with the motion controls, stuff like that. The big case with Metroid Prime 1 was that crunch time on that game was a whopping 9 months. We're talking 80 to 100 hour work weeks in 9 whole months. Obviously, I do not support crunch time in any way, shape, and form. I would much rather this game come out later so the developers have time to spend with their families off the clock. Then yeah, that's fine by me. But again, who knows what Nintendo is going to do? Who knows what the work policies are going to be under Nintendo's ruling? I know a bunch of previous Retro Studios employees have complained about how Nintendo has treated them. Hopefully Nintendo has changed, which I feel like they have. But then again, crunch time is a real thing that unfortunately happens in this industry, so that remains to be seen. It also depends if this game is coming out in 2021. It also is determined by how ambitious this project is going to be. Is it going to be Breath of the Wild ambitious? I don't think so. The thing about Metroid is that it's been a very formulaic series. Hell, the term coined, Metroidvania, was coined because of how Metroid games have operated in tight corridors, with some big areas thrown in there like the Talanova world, but it's never been an open world type of game. But of course, all of that remains to be seen. I know Rob is kind of a pessimist when it comes to these things. He thinks this game is 3 to 4 years off, and it's probably going to come out on Nintendo's next system, which I don't agree with in the slightest. Like, if Retro Studios started development this year, or even late last year, they're not working with new Nintendo hardware right now. Like, they could possibly come out with the game on the next Nintendo system, like, a couple of years into its life cycle, maybe, but I don't think it's a good enough series to be a launch title on the system. Obviously, I think it's a good enough series. Metroid's great, but sales-wise, you guys always remind me about this on Twitter, that Metroid doesn't sell well, and newsflash, I know it, stop reminding me. But Zelda with the Switch, when Breath of the Wild was a launch title on the Switch, that was a much safer bet to take, because Zelda is always guaranteeing sales. Although you could argue that a Metroid game launching on a new Nintendo system would ride on the hype of that new Nintendo system, hence sell more in that regard. But in this case, I don't think it's going to happen. And I also don't think that it's going to take nearly as long as people are saying. Because let's do the math. If the game were to come out in holiday 2021, that is around 2.5 years from now. A little more than that. But again, it depends on when they started development. If they started late last year, or even earlier than that, then who knows? That could mean a 3-year development cycle, which, if Metroid Prime 4 is just going to be the tight corridor type of game that we expect, then yeah, I don't think development's going to take nearly as long as some people are anticipating. And yes, I am an optimist, I will not deny. And yes, I want to see this game as soon as possible because it is my most anticipated game of all time. I don't think any other game, except maybe, who knows, Metroid Prime 5, I don't know. But if you thought I was hyped for The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild for the past few years, boy, you don't understand how much bigger of a Metroid fan I am than Zelda. I could just ooze compliments on the Metroid Prime trilogy for as long as I want, but I'll save that for another video, maybe closer to when Prime 4 is coming out. Now, say the game doesn't come out in 2021, but of course in 2022, I hope to God nothing past 2022, because at that point, if you're waiting until 2023 to come out with a game you announced in 2017, you're in Square Enix territory right there, and I know Nintendo does not want to be in that territory. They've made that mistake with Breath of the Wild. They for sure don't want to make it again with Metroid Prime 4, but hey, they already did, so But SuperMetalDave on Twitter came up with another scenario. Maybe the game doesn't come out in 2021, but we see it for the first time in 2021. And to that, I would be more than okay with, because I just want to see this game more than I want to play it right now. Because we don't know a thing. And that just boggles at my mind even more. Oh my goodness. And I thought it was hard not knowing what The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild would be like for 2 years. Like, when we saw that game on an off-screen footage in 2014, we didn't see anything else of that for a year and a half. That was just so stressful to me. And to think I'll probably have to wait even longer for that. Nintendo, why do you do this to me? Yes, I am grateful that Nintendo decided to do this instead of release a broken product. But you cannot deny that having to wait even longer for it is still something worth being bummed out about. And the people who have told me, like, just be patient, man, you just gotta be patient, at least you're not getting a broken game, these people have admitted that they haven't played a Metroid game in their life. So, of course they don't understand. But enough about that. Metroid Prime 4 is a game that I am very, very, very excited for, as you can tell, and I wanted to make more Metroid videos about this on the channel, and then talk about some of the other games just to get hyped for this game, because we're all hyped about Metroid Prime. You're watching this right now, you're clearly hyped about Metroid Prime 4. I know I am, and I hope we see a Metroid Prime trilogy on the Switch, because let's face it, Nintendo would be incredibly stupid not to release the Prime trilogy on the Switch, because not a lot of people played the trilogy on the Wii or even the GameCube, so Nintendo would be wise to release this on their best-selling platform, the Nintendo Switch. I hope we see something about the Prime trilogy at E3, man, because as it is, I need Metroid injected into my veins right now. I find it hard to be excited about anything else, really. Like, even my most anticipated games like Doom Eternal and Cyberpunk 2077, I do not anticipate them nearly as much as I anticipate Metroid Prime 4. But hey, let me know your Metroid Prime 4 hype levels in the comment section down below. What do you want to see in the game? Let me know. But I also want to let you guys know that these sort of face-to-face, talking to you type of videos are not my primary focus here on this channel. I want to talk about my review series, which I used to call FWP, but now they're just simply FerrisWheelPro episodes, where I take a look at a variety of different games, new and old, and just kind of have a fun time with them. I don't like to just be boring and sort of just review the games at face value. I like to have some fun with them, you know? I don't specifically even call these straight up reviews, because I just like to have fun talking about them, you know? So feel free to check out that playlist. I'll put a link to it right up here. Thank you, YouTube cards. You do all the hard work. But that's just my thoughts. I also want to give shout-outs to my boys, SuperMetalDave, Rob of Rule of 2 Review. They obviously have bigger followings than I do, but on the off chance that you have never heard of these guys, feel free to go to their channels, subscribe to them. Hey, maybe tell them Joey sent ya. And I also want to give a huge shout-out to Smash JT for making me his creator of the month of April. That is so awesome, especially considering April is my birthday month. Hooray! But again, thank you guys so much for hearing me ramble about Metroid. It's my all-time favorite series, like I keep saying, but if you want to see more Metroid videos, please let me know. In the meantime, I will see you guys on the next ride.